Sunday morning, all relaxed. Maybe you have your mobile on your lap as you lie in bed, or maybe not. Maybe the kids are running around screaming and you're having to take care of them while you watch this. But, relaxation doesn't sound like a very exciting topic, but really there are a lot of different dimensions to it. And I've really enjoyed discovering these myself over the years and just seeing how they apply. Here we're in a context of Ananda Yoga practice, but really the point of the practice is to learn how to carry over the skills into everyday life. It's not, Ananda Yoga practice is not like damage control, where you have this little island of time where you can recover. It's about honing your skills. In this case, your relaxation skills. There are other skills that are relevant to Ananda Yoga, but honing your skills to be able to find a place of relaxation within your day, anytime, any day, in any situation. A variety of things that you can do, and I'd like to share just a few of those with you in this webinar. And if you are lying in bed, you can rest assured that before long I'm going to ask you to get up, because we are going to do a couple of things that are gentle, well, sort of gentle asanas that can be putting out a little bit of energy. So get ready for that, but it's not coming yet. I want to start with physical relaxation. Now, if you find yourself in a place of tension, what's happening is that energy in the body is trapped. It is trapped and it's causing physical tension in a particular place. But it's the nature of energy to move, to flow. Energy governs your body, all the operations of your body. And it needs to flow abundantly. It needs to flow harmoniously. So if you're holding physical tension, that tension is not the cause of anything, really. It's usually the effect of mental or emotional tension, mental or emotional uproar that is finding its way outward into the physical body to trap energy in certain places. And we all know these places. We all have our own favorite places to hold tension. For some of us, it's in the solar plexus area. For others of us, it's more in the throat, for example, or up in the shoulders. But we all have it. And the important thing to realize is this relationship between the physical tension, the lack of physical relaxation, and the lack of mental or emotional relaxation. Because these two, the mental, emotional, and the physical, are engaged in a negative feedback loop, which is to say that the physical tension reinforces the underlying cause, which is the mental or emotional tension. Physical tension reinforces that, makes it much harder for you to gain a sense of mental or emotional relaxation. So a first and very simple step, and I'm going to get to subtler ones soon, very simple step, though, is to break that negative feedback loop and address the physical tension, to take away that reinforcement for the mental or emotional tension that is causing this. And there are simple ways to do this, simple stretches of the body. We all do these things. Asanas, of course, that's one of a great purpose of asanas. But there's another way to do it that is often a lot more convenient and can be a lot more invisible if you're in circumstances where it needs to be invisible. And that's the simple act of consciously tensing the body, and especially tensing it where you feel the tension from your mental or emotional unrest. Tense right there as firmly as you can, as firmly as comfortable, and relax. And what you're doing when you do that, it's like you're taking responsibility for all the energy that's trapped in that part of the body, taking responsibility for it by pumping even more energy into that part of the body so that you can then relax all of it. You can relax the energy that you sent there, as well as relax the energy that had accumulated there due to the tension. So let's just do that a couple of times. We can do that with a double breath, which is a short, long inhalation through the nose, followed by a short, then long exhalation through mouth and nose. And in between, as we hold the breath, let's tense the entire body just for this. So let's double inhale. Hold and tense the whole body, the fists, the face, the feet, squeeze everything. Double exhale and relax. And again, double inhale, tense. Squeeze, really take responsibility for any tension you're feeling. Double exhale, relax. One more time. And squeeze. Release. Just enjoy that momentary relaxation that you should be feeling throughout the body now. But you do this, and if you do this in a difficult situation, you'll feel that relaxation. But if you don't go forward from there to do something about the underlying cause, about the mental or emotional tension, then the physical tension will just recur. So I'd like to share with you a technique, as you might not have been part of the first of this 3 webinar series, but I shared it in that first one. But it's a wonderful, wonderful technique for getting at the underlying cause of the tension. And that is the heart calming breath. Because we think of mental tension, but really what it all comes back to is heart tension. And in our feeling nature, we are experiencing fear or worry or anger or frustration. And that is going out to the physical body to cause the tension. So simple heart calming breath. Just sit up nice and tall. If you're standing, stand up nice and tall. This is not complicated. Close your eyes. And behind closed eyelids, lift your gaze slightly above the horizontal. Not exaggeratedly, just slightly above horizontal. And keeping your gaze upturned, put your concentration down in the heart, in the center of the chest. And send calming energy to the heart, calming vibrations to the heart. With each exhalation, feel that you're expelling any agitation from the heart area. This is the heart chakra, of course. Expel any restlessness, any turmoil, and then hold the breath out. As long as it's comfortable for you, don't get to the point of strain, and enjoy whatever calmness you've been able to bring to the heart. When you need to inhale, do it again. And again, as you exhale, just expel any remaining agitation from the heart and hold the breath out. And enjoy calmness in your heart. Just keep the gaze slightly upturned behind your closed eyelids. One more breath. Just try to feel calmness. When you practice a technique like this, right now, Sunday morning, when it's not so hard, you can find ways, you can learn ways to practice it when it is harder. Maybe when you're amongst other people. You can't close your eyes and lift your gaze. It will be too strange. But you can still concentrate in the heart, breathe away tension, and enjoy whatever release from that tension you've been able to achieve. Such a simple technique, but I must say, I've been using this for a number of years, and you get better at it. You get much better able to use it in the midst of some tension. especially with other people, when you can't just isolate yourself. When you have to be engaged, you can be engaged with a greater sense of calmness. So that's one way to begin to bring more relaxation into your life, to break the negative feedback loop, get rid of some of that physical tension, and then go back and address the underlying cause, which is at a subtler level, at the level of feeling inside of you. So as we go, if any questions come up, please feel free to type them in the chat box, and we'll take some time toward the end of this to answer some questions. But I want to share with you a few other aspects of relaxation that I think you'll find very, very interesting, especially, well, the first one is going to percolate through the rest of them. I'm going to share my screen now in a moment. So if you've been lying in bed, relaxing, it's time to get up, because we're going to do a couple things standing. And so I've got a couple of PowerPoint slides here that I want to show you. So Sagar, who's assisting, will help you. There we go. So this slide right here. I'd like to invite you to be in the position that this woman is in. Very simple position. She's just not even a half squat, really, just a partial squat, just keeping her spine pretty much vertical. She's not leaning forward, the arms out in front. And just let the breath flow as you hold this position. And if you're in a very, very shallow squat, you'd be able to hold this for a long, long time. So if you're shallow, come down a little bit further into the squat, because we're going to do something that I think you'll find interesting when we come out of this position. So just a few more breaths. If you need to come out, go ahead. But ideally, stay in this position for a few more breaths. You might even want to experiment a little bit. She has her palms turned upward. Turn your palms downward for a moment and notice the difference it makes as you hold this position. And then turn them upward again. Just notice how much lighter you feel with the palms turned upward than you do when the palms are turned downward. Now, we're going to come out of this in just a moment. What I'd like you to do is, as you come out back to a normal standing position, I'd like to invite you to feel the release in your legs and feel the released energy naturally moving upward. So let's inhale back to upright. Exhale, let go of the breath, and just notice the release in the legs, the energy that was activating your legs, holding you in this semi-squat, and notice it naturally going upward. You are relaxing upward. This is a really important principle in all of yoga, is cultivating the ability to relax upward. Because, as you know, most of us have a very deep habit of when we relax downward. We collapse on the sofa, we collapse into bed, or we just collapse onto a chair. Or even if we're not actually physically moving down, most of the time when people relax, it's like, that relief kind of relax, which is a downward relaxation. And one thing that you can find throughout the science of yoga, and that's that downward is never going to take you where you want to go. As Swami Kriyananda put it, who was really the person who developed Ananda Yoga as a distinct system of asana and pranayama and meditation based on the teachings of his guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, said very interesting. He said the whole of the spiritual path is a process of upward relaxation. The whole of the spiritual path is a process of upward relaxation. And I would extend that to the whole of a truly successful, happy life. whether you're seeking spiritually or not, is a process of upward relaxation, learning to counter long-held habits of relaxing downward, because downward is not taking you toward the experience of who you really are, the experience of your soul. Only upward can take you in that direction. So I'd like to invite you to kind of nestle that in your brain cells over the next day, over the next week, month. Try to cultivate the ability to relax upward. Not all situations make it easy. So you might want to focus especially on situations where it's not difficult, where you can hone your skill of relaxing upward. So that's one thing. As I said earlier, this has made such a difference to me, not only in a little test case like this, but in all the situations of life when you feel that sigh happening, the sigh of relief or the sigh of letting go of frustration or something. Take it as your signal that energy has been released. Energy has been released from being occupied as tension, and now you, through your own power of visualization, through your own power of breathing, can lift that released energy up to a place where you can really make the best use of it, which is in the brain, especially in the prefrontal lobe of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of all your highest faculties, your faculty of concentration, your faculty of initiative, of learning, of getting along with others. There are so many. Your highest faculties are centered there. When you practice upward relaxation, you're essentially bringing energy up here to feed those faculties, to make them more and more dynamic to your experience. So you might want to try this little technique, this little position regularly to cultivate the ability to relax upwardly, because this exact little exercise that we just did is one of the best ways I know of to really feel upward relaxation, not just think or imagine upward relaxation, although those are good things to do too, but you want to feel it. Now, I want to take you into another little aspect of this, and yes, it's going to be another simple yoga posture. Okay, another aspect of relaxation. This is Virabhadrasana 1, the Warrior 1 pose. And I'd like you to come into whatever expression of this is comfortable, might not be the right word, doable for you. Okay, so you have a wide split stance here. You want to make sure that your front knee is directly over your ankle. And if you can't have your rear heel lifted like she has in the photo, then go ahead and point it straight back like she is. It adds a balance element to the asana, which is one reason why I like this expression of it. And then the arms are raised overhead, and just see how deep a lunge you can comfortably come into, and just breathe here. Now, the exercise I'd like you to experiment with as you hold this position is just to notice where in the body are you holding tension unnecessarily. Because obviously there are some places in the body where you need to be holding tension. The front leg, for example. A little bit in the back leg too, because if you don't hold some tension there, your back knee will just drop toward the floor. Shoulders, obviously. You're holding your arms up overhead. The shoulders are going to be involved. But notice where else in the body you might be holding tension unnecessarily. Are you over-tensing in the abdomen? Are you over-tensing in your face? There's no reason to have any tension at all in your face. Are you pressing your tongue against the roof of your mouth? Are you holding your breath? Notice all those ways in which places you don't need to be holding tension. I'm going to come out of this in just a moment. But before we do, release everything that you can release. Okay, let's come back to upright again. And just pause for a moment, just in your regular standing position. See if you can relax upward. Okay, you were holding that for a while. Try to relax upward. Then release tension. Now let's do the other side. And this time, focus on one of the principles we talk about in Ananda Yoga, because we say Ananda Yoga is a relaxation-based practice. But that doesn't mean relaxation instead of effort. It means relaxation in the midst of effort. So as we do the second side of this with your other leg forward this time, once again, just check to see that your knee and that forward leg is directly over your ankle. And if it's a little bit out in front of the ankle, step the foot forward farther. Just come into this position, whatever approximation of it is comfortable for you. And really focus on that sense of almost total relaxation in the midst of making effort. So much of the time we get tense just because we're making an effort. Try not to be in that effortful place. Try to be in relaxation as much as possible. No extra tension anywhere. And you'll find that if you can release that extra tension, the body becomes lighter. The mind becomes lighter. One more breath. Make it nice and slow and relaxed. It's a long hold I've kept you in here. In your next inhalation, let's step the back foot forward, come back to an upright position. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the energy from the legs releasing and naturally rising up through the body, up toward the brain. And if you don't feel it happening, imagine it happening, imagining how it would feel if it were happening. Another example of upward relaxation. Ideally, you want to practice upward relaxation even while you were in that asana. I didn't want to load you with too many chores here, but this would be the ideal. When we're in a challenging situation, try to practice upward relaxation, because that's going to do two things for you. One of them is it's going to just enable you to relax a bit more. But the other, that upward migration of energy, the migration that you are causing to happen, is going to feed all those high functions of the prefrontal cortex of your brain. It's going to be making you better able to handle whatever situation you have it in hand. So that's another aspect of relaxation. Two aspects, in fact. One, notice where you're holding tension unnecessarily. And two, relax in the midst of effort. Find that place where you can let go of unnecessary tension and therefore use that released tension to do whatever it is you're doing, whether it's physical or mental work. Do whatever it is you're doing better, more enjoyably. So, upward relaxation, relaxation in the midst of effort. And now I'd like to share one more with you. And that is an obvious one at first, anyway, and that is to relax inward. Okay, so just, or whether you're sitting or standing, close your eyes like this woman is in the photograph. Close your eyes and imagine, especially it's easier with the exhalations, imagine just a migration of energy, of relaxation inward to your center. Do it with every breath, every relaxation. Just feel it inward. Once again, you're countering a long-held habit of relaxation being primarily downward. What that does, as I said earlier, it tends to draw your consciousness down a little bit, and it's okay. I mean, certainly there's a downward movement of energy in the body every time you inhale, but there's a lot of energy in the body that habitually just sort of, every time you exhale. But there's a lot of energy in the body that isn't connected with the breath that way, but just through force of habit tends to go downward with the breath energy when you exhale. So as you exhale, try to feel a release of energy inward, not downward. If you practice this, you're going to become better able to feel that same process happening. Let's go back here. It's that same process happening in other positions of the body. And that is in these asanas, they're depicted here, of course, but these are just examples. I mean, most of our time we do not spend doing asana practice. We spend our time doing whatever it is we do in our lives, whether it's parenting or cooking or working in an office or to have a more physical job. But again, the asanas can be a beautiful training ground for you to be able to have that experience of inward relaxation using every exhalation to help you. But that's only half the breath. That's only half the process. So relax inward, yes, but remember, relax upward also. And that's where you can use the inhalations. Because inhalations naturally draw energy up through the spine to the brain. And the inhalations and exhalations can work just perfectly together this way. Every inhalation draws energy up. Every exhalation centers you more in the spine. That's what's really happening here. Keeps you more centered. When you lose your center, I mean, it's a beautiful expression because it's literally true. You're not at your physical center anymore. The energy that ideally would be in your physical spine has migrated out to the periphery where it's either restless or it's trapped in stillness as tension. So I can stop sharing the screen now and we can go back to full camera. So just remember these little tips because they're so practical in everyday life. Do I need to hit the escape key to get us out of here? No. Okay. They're so practical. And that is to first, if you have physical tension, break the negative feedback loop of physical tension and emotional/mental tension. Break the negative feedback loop. Get rid of the physical. Just simplest thing you can do is just tense and relax. Nobody even needs to see you doing it. Then bring calmness into the heart. You can do it just one breath. If you practice it, if you get really good at it, just one breath can be enough to just restore a level of functionality to yourself that wasn't there a moment ago. Then, third key that we talked about, relax upward. Relax upward as much as possible. At the very least, do it when you're coming out of a situation of some tension. whether it's physical tension or emotional tension, just try to relax the released energy upward rather than that long-held habit that we all have of relaxation being essentially downward. Then practice relaxation in the midst of effort. Now, you know people who can do this. I love to watch the really terrific athletes. They're amazing because, number one, they put out tremendous energy, but there's an underlying sense of relaxation in it. It's the beginner, it's the uncoordinated person who has a lot of tension because they're just not in control of the situation. But really, the elite athletes are putting out even more energy than the beginner puts out, but they're making the most of their energy because in the midst of effort, they're also relaxed. So relaxation in the midst of effort. And then final point is that relaxation inward and upward just through the use of the breath. You can't always do physical asanas. You don't always need to do physical asanas. The breath itself can be the most beautiful tool for bringing a deeper sense of quality relaxation to you when you consciously use it. Use your exhalations to bring yourself more to a place of centeredness. Use your inhalations to lift that centered energy up toward the brain. And as you progress in this practice, what you're going to start to feel is that inward relaxation on the exhalation is going to have an upward component to it also. So that gives you a head start. It gets the energy moving a little bit upwards so that when the inhalation comes along and follows it, it'll be even more effective for bringing energy to the brain. So as you go about your daily life, look for situations where you can use one or more of these. Some of these are more applicable in some situations, others more applicable in other situations. Each of us needs to have a little toolbox of relaxation techniques, not just for the sake of reducing tension, but for the sake of doing whatever it is we do in life more effectively, more harmoniously, and more happily. So those are the tips I wanted to share in this webinar. I'd like to open it up. If we have some questions, Sagar will read them to me, and I will see if I can answer any of them.
Thank you, Gyandevji. That was very interesting what you said about the inward relaxation. And one question which I see from a participant here, which I have also, is can you just briefly recap this inward relaxation versus the relaxation of sleep or something like that? How is this different, the inward one?
Okay. The inward, sleep is an interesting process. You don't try to go to sleep. Sometimes we think we're trying to go to sleep, but if you try to go to sleep, you can't go to sleep. Going to sleep is just a letting go completely. Letting go of everything you can possibly let go of. Letting go of the physical body, letting go of the breath, letting go of mind, letting go of the feelings, just letting go. Whereas this inward relaxation is not a letting go process. It's rather you're trying to assert control over that energy, to draw it into a center, but not in a forceful way. Think of it this way. Create a magnet of concentration in the center of your torso. Okay. Wherever you concentrate, it will be a magnet for energy to go. So if you're concentrating in the center of your torso, that's something that will begin to draw released energy, and energy is released every time you exhale. Okay? Inhaling, that's the working part of the breath. The exhalation is the letting go part of the breath. So through concentration and through a conscious visualization, try to feel energy going more toward your center. Those are things that you don't usually do in trying to go to sleep. And that's kind of the distinction I wanted to make here, that this is a more active process. Whereas sleep, we're just trying to let go. We're trying to passively go into the sleep state. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different.
Thanks, Gyandevji. So the follow-up question also is, what are the signs and symptoms that we are relaxing inwardly? Are there some states in our consciousness that tell us that we are doing this inward relaxation right, rather than being lethargic or those kind of things?
Well, that's really where the upward direction comes in, because lethargic is in its essence is a downward direction. So if you can feel an upward direction to it, even a little bit, even just a hint of upwardness, you know that you're beginning to move in the right direction. Don't look for signs that are super subtle. I mean, there are some subtle signs, but what you can look for is just how you feel. Do I feel more centered? Do I feel more collected? Like I have my resources closer to hand. Then those are just simple things you can look for, and but it all boils down to you just feel more in charge of your own self, more in charge of your own awareness, and that's very empowering.
Thank you, Gyandevji. Another question was, in the very first webinar of this series, you shared about stress and of thinking that stress is also a friend. But today you are also mentioning that upward relaxation is also a friend, and generally stress and relaxation don't generally go hand in hand. So how do we balance these two aspects?
Well, put it this way, when you have stress, you have energy. Okay, that's why it's potentially your friend. But it doesn't really become your friend until you can do something with that energy. Because if that energy is only trapped as tension, number one, it's very unpleasant. And number two, you can't do anything with it. So we need to find a way to relax that energy. It's like you're unleashing your army when you can relax the energy from tension due to stress into freed energy. The stress is still there, but the energy is free because you've relaxed. Now, and only now, can you do something with it. So stress can be your friend if you learn how to relax the tension that tends to go along with stress.
And Gyandevji, the other question also this brings up is, often people think of yoga as a workout, and you are rightly emphasizing on relaxation. So how do we, can you clarify that?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, these days, more and more people do, I'd say most people look at Hatha Yoga as a workout. Oh, that's a recent phenomenon. That is not classical yoga. Classical yoga is a work-in, where you are cultivating more and more inner awareness and lifting your consciousness. And I'm sorry to say that most Hatha Yoga that I'm aware of in the world today is more outward. It's more about getting a workout, getting in shape, getting into that smaller size garment, getting up a good sweat. But that's not Ananda Yoga. And you shouldn't come out of Ananda Yoga practice exhausted, unless it's a super hot day and you're doing it outside. You should come out of Ananda Yoga practice very relaxed, very energized. Okay, people don't think of those two going together, relaxation and being energized, but absolutely very relaxed, very energized. So you're full of prana, full of alertness, but then a third component as well, uplifted. Okay, not just energized in the sense of I'm going to go run, do my errands real fast, but uplifted. I'm seeing life from a higher perspective, even if it's just a teeny bit of life, even if it's just I have a better feeling about myself or a better feeling about some situation that's going on in my life. But those are the outcomes we look for in Ananda Yoga practice of relaxation. Yes. High energy. Absolutely. Not exhausted, but uplifted as well, because ultimately all yoga practice comes down to consciousness. What we're seeking to do is raise our consciousness to a higher level. And if your yoga practice is not doing that for you, well, okay, maybe it's a nice workout. Workouts are good, but just realize that yoga can take you farther than that. And that's what we emphasize in Ananda Yoga practice.
Thank you, Gyandevji. And we have two questions which are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. One participant wrote that they suffer from insomnia and can yoga practice or this relaxation, how can it help them? While another participant wrote they suffer from sleepiness during the daytime and they want to see if they can learn to stay awake and ready during the day. So any thoughts?
Okay. Well, let me just stay on topic for this webinar, and that is we're talking about relaxation. So it sounds like if sleepiness is your issue, you've got relaxation mastered, but not the octave of relaxation that you would like, right? Because the sleepiness sort of fading away is taking you into a place where you can't function as well. This is a time to bring more energy into your body. Do that double inhaling and tensing and relaxing exercise that we did at the beginning to energize the body, relax the body, and then especially focus on the inhalations afterwards. Just inhale and scoop that awakened energy up to the brain. This is where you need to have energy if you want to stay awake. Okay? Now, as for the insomnia question, that too is a relaxation issue. And I don't want to oversimplify it because insomnia can have deeper aspects to it, because I know some people who really need medication for insomnia. What I think of medications in general as they can open a window to let subtler practices like yoga practices, like breathing techniques, to give them the space to work at deeper levels of your being that they couldn't get to without the medication. So I'm not totally against medication at all, because some people need it. But pulling away from that and just talking about insomnia that doesn't require medication, that that too is a process of relaxation, is a process of coming more and more to a stop. Now, when you have insomnia, you can almost feel, I've been there, you can almost feel energy going out to the periphery of your body, or worse still, energy going out beyond your body to things you're concerned about, things that you can't let go of. And that's a form of tension also. And to bring more and more of a sense of relaxation into your experience of trying to go to sleep. And I'll just give you one simple technique. I actually have recorded a lot of them on something called Ease into Sleep. If you're interested in it, you can get the MP3 download from my personal website, waystofreedom.com, waystofreedom.com. But let me give you one very simple technique from that. Practice with your breath, making your exhalations, if possible, twice as long as your inhalations. If you can't get it all the way to twice as long, just make them as long as you can without making them stressful, without making them difficult to do. So everything should be easy in this. But exhalations up to 2 times longer than inhalations. This is how you breathe when you sleep. The exhalations are longer. So by breathing in this way, you are aligning yourself with the sleep state. And give that a try. I like to add one component when I have this, because sometimes I have a little trouble sleeping too. I'll add an affirmation along with the breath. And then on the inhalation, I'm mentally affirming, I relax in perfect faith. On the exhalation, that what I need will come to me. I relax in perfect faith that what I need will come to me. Just use that breathing pattern, use that mental affirmation. Don't move the lips or the tongue or anything, and let that take you more and more to the sleep state. So we've gone a little over time. I thank you all for joining me, and I hope that some of you will join me either in Delhi or Pune or Mumbai. I look forward to meeting you. And meanwhile, many blessings to you and joy to you.